Whispers of the past, echoes of reality, stories hidden in the shadows of truth. Welcome to True Tales, where we explore factual narratives and uncover the extraordinary in the ordinary. Singapore's journey began in the 19th century, with evidence of a trading settlement dating back to the 14th century. Parameswara, the last ruler of Singapura, laid the foundation for modern Singapore post-1819 British negotiations. After World War II, it became an independent republic in 1965. Today, Singapore has a high GDP and ranks 9th on the UN Human Development Index, with a rich history that includes references from Ptolemy and invasions by the Chola Empire. The name Temasek is mentioned in Sejarah Melayu, depicting the founding of Temasek by Prince Sri Triwana in the 13th century. He founded a settlement called Singapura, meaning Lion City. By the 14th century, Singapore was a significant settlement involved in the power struggle between Siam and Majapahit. The demise of the last king led to the rise of the Malacca Sultanate in Singapore, eventually becoming part of the Johor Sultanate by the 16th century. Once a settlement on the Singapore River, part of the Johor Sultanate, it faded into obscurity after the Portuguese destruction in 1613. European powers took control of the Malay archipelago in the following centuries. The Dutch monopolized spice trade, while the British sought dominance. In 1818, Raffles aimed to secure a new port along the Straits of Malacca for British trade with China and India. He discovered Singapore on the 28th of January 1819, recognizing its potential. It was along the main trade route between India and China that Raffles discovered a small Malay settlement at the Singapore River's mouth. With about 1,000 residents, including Malays and Chinese, Raffles smuggled the rightful sultan back, resulting in the Treaty of Singapore on the 6th of February 1819. After Raffles' arrival, the population grew rapidly due to an influx of Chinese migrants, reaching nearly 100,000 by 1871, forming the diverse society we recognize today. Raffles returned to Bencoolen after signing the treaty, leaving Major William Farquhar in charge. Establishing a trading port was challenging, as Farquhar's administration could not collect port duties due to Singapore's status as a free port. Settlers came in droves, and by 1819, trade reached $400,000. By 1824, Singapore outpaced Penang. Raffles later criticized Farquhar's methods, imposing stricter policies and replacing him with Crawford, This agreement brought the island under British law, considering Malay customs. In 1824, Singapore was ceded to the East India Company. By 1860, Indians became the second largest ethnic group, working mainly as laborers. However, the administration was ineffective, causing health crises and lawlessness. By 1850, there were only 12 police officers for 60,000 people. As issues grew, the British established the Straits settlements as a separate. Over the years, unelected councils incorporated more local representatives. The colonial government tackled social issues, establishing the 1877 Chinese Protectorate to assist the Chinese community. Despite banning secret societies in 1889, problems like housing and health crises continued. Revolutionary activity surged by 1906 with the Tungmenghui's founding in Singapore. The immigrant Chinese supported the 1911 revolution, while Singapore remained largely unaffected. After the war, British trade diminished and US and Japan grew in influence. The British devoted resources to Singapore's naval base as a deterrent to Japan. Completed in 1939, it featured the largest dry dock and significant defenses. Unfortunately, it lacked a fleet due to the war in Europe. General Dobby proposed a hypothesis that could have changed Singapore's fate. In 1941, Japan launched an attack on Pearl Harbor in Malaya, marking the beginning of the Pacific. The military was confident that Fortress Singapore would withstand any Japanese attack, bolstered by the arrival of Force Z. However, on the 8th of December 1941, Japanese forces invaded Malaya and swiftly advanced southward. The proud battleships HMS Prince of Wales and Repulse were sunk, marking a severe British naval defeat. In just 55 days, the Japanese conquered the Malay Peninsula, culminating in the surrender of Allied forces on the 15th of February 1940. The fall of Singapore marked the largest surrender of British-led forces, with Japan's victory seen as decisive. Occupied from 1942 to 1945, Singapore was renamed Sionan II. The Japanese army enforced harsh measures, especially against the Chinese, leading to the Suk Ching massacre, which killed tens of thousands. Locals faced severe hardship, being forced to build the Death Railway. The British response to insurgencies further delayed self-governance. A second Legislative Council election was held in 1951, with the number of elected seats increased to 9. The SPP won 6 seats, marking the rise of local government in Singapore while the colonial administration remained dominant. In 1953, a British commission proposed a limited form of self-government. The Legislative Assembly elections in 1955 introduced automatic voter registration, expanding the electorate. The SPP was defeated, and the Labour Front emerged victorious with 10 seats. The Fahar trial highlighted the fight against colonial rule. David Marshall became the first chief minister amidst rising social unrest, culminating in the Hock Lee bus riots. In 1956, Chinese middle school riots heightened local government tensions with students. Marshall's unsuccessful Merdeka talks in April for self-rule arose from British communism fears. Lim Yew Hock then targeted leftist groups. A 1957 agreement granted internal self-government, forming the state of Singapore. Ultimately, on Lee Kuan Yew's 40th birthday in 1963, Singapore joined Malaysia, but was subsequently expelled. Goh Keng Swee convinced Lee Kuan Yew that separation from Malaysia was necessary. On 9 August 1965, Malaysia's parliament voted to expel Singapore. In a heartfelt announcement, Lee declared Singapore a sovereign nation. The new republic faced dire challenges: unemployment, housing crises, and military threats. Yet, Singapore sought international recognition and joined the UN and Commonwealth. By 1967, Singapore co-founded industrial estates in Jurong developed due to foreign investments and tax incentives, leading to a manufacturing revolution and increased revenues. The service industry flourished, supported by port activities and commerce, lowering unemployment. By the 1970s, Singapore became a key oil refining center. Education investments created a skilled workforce, while housing initiatives addressed social issues. Military reforms enhanced defense capabilities. Lee's policies established. Over 22,000 Chinese officials studied Singapore's methods. The city-state faced crises in the early 21st century, including the 2001 embassy attack plot, the SARS outbreak in 2003, the 2009 H1N1 pandemic, and COVID-19 from 2020 to 2023. With a focus on education reforms, social integration, and international events like the Grand Prix and Youth Olympics, Singapore experienced significant changes under PM Lee Hsien Loong, who succeeded. In 2015, Singapore celebrated its Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years of independence with an extra day, August 7th. Fun packs were given to all households during the National Day Parade, which was unique for being held at both the Padang and Marina Bay float, and notably the first without founding leader Lee Kuan Yew. The general elections on September 11th had all seats contested, with the ruling PAP securing 69.86% of votes. In 2017, the first reserved presidential elections took place, making Halima Yaqub the first female president. In July 2020, PAP won 83 out of 93 seats, though with a decline from 2015. On May 15, 2024, Lawrence Wong became the fourth